A really appreciative crowd here in Stuttgart as they applaud that performance. This could clinch her the all-around title. She was nearly perfect. Here's the double full to a punch front. She cowboys a little bit, but she continues through to another double full. Combination tumbling invented by Oksana Omelianchik from the Soviet team. 9.975 is going to clinch the all-around title for Silivash. This young lady's having a terrific competition from East Germany. This is Antje Wilkenlow. One of her first major international events, and she is on. Front step out to a triple twist. Catching her breath before her second tumbling run. Double back, a little short. Another triple full. What a finish. Now she had a little trouble in the landings of those triple twists, but the judges will take that into account because 3 twists in the air, very difficult to complete them, make them all the way around. Let's take a look once again. She does a round off to a back handspring, and she's going to stay laid out, and she cranks 3 twists just like she did off the balance beam, and you can see she's a little short, has to take a step out of that. That'll be a minor deduction. 9.788 for Antje Wilkenlow. Now we turn our attention over to Svetlana Boginskaya from the Soviet Union. This is her final event, the vault. She won the gold here in Seoul. Wow. That's a Yurchenko full, as we saw earlier, with perfect form. This is a very difficult move, and she does it so cleanly. That's what makes it so spectacular. She's high. She has good form. Notice how tight her legs are all the way throughout. She tries to fight that landing and takes a small step. Once again, it's a round off. She's going to go back onto the horse backwards, get a good clean push. Boy, the form in the air is outstanding. Remember, in the women's all-around competition, they get 2 vaults. They get to take the best of the 2. That one was perfect, even better than the first one, and she nailed the landing. The 15-year-old from Minsk is obvious. She's finished with the all-around competition, and she finished on a strong note. What a great vault. She comes onto the board. Notice she puts her hands down in front of the board and then reaches back to the horse. Beautiful block. That's a spring-loaded horse, which gives the gymnast extra height. She drops the landing right on top of it. Once again, as we look at the replay of this second vault, she got a 9.925 on her first vault. This one's even better. She has a great block, good height, perfect form, and she just nails it. A 10! A 10 for Svetlana Boginskaya from the Soviet Union. A great way to finish, but unfortunately not enough to catch Daniela Silivash from Romania. Boginskaya finishes second. Antje Wilkenlow from East Germany's third. Lashenova from the Soviet Union fourth. Dobre finishes sixth. The men's all-around competition is next.
row, Daniela Silivash of Romania has won the women's all-around title at the DTB Pokal competition. For our first look at the men's competition, let's join our gold medal winner, Bart Connor.
Back in Stuttgart, West Germany for the German Gymnastics Federation Cup for the men's all-around competition. As we mentioned at the top of the show, many of the world's best gymnasts are competing here, including Soviet Olympic champion Valery Liukin. This next performer for the Soviet team is Valery Belenki. He's a last-minute replacement. And to give you an idea how deep their team is, we have never heard anything about this guy, and he is awesome. Look at him travel up and down the horse. 1 pommel work, 3 backmores in a row. Tremendous elevation above the horse. Perfect toe point. There's a handstand. Pirouette undercut down. He picks up back into flares. Look at the Stockley and a full pirouette off. Tremendous exercise for Belenki. He shows incredible originality, and the routine was packed with difficulty. From the top, you can see the flared position. Tremendous work as he Stockleys to the end, and he full pirouettes all the way back to the other end and dismounts. 9.8 is the score for Belenki. This brings us to his teammate, Valery Liukin, the Olympic champion. He tied for 4th place in the Olympic Games in Seoul on this event, the still rings. There's a back kip to a planche. And a bounce cross. The Soviets have been very well known for their swinging ability on rings, as well as their strength. Notice how he's locked out in the handstand. He can swing those giant swings. He's a little crooked. He's having a little trouble maintaining those rings. See how they're swinging? Every time it swings, it's a 1/10 of a point deduction. What a nice dismount, though. A laid out, full out, not a problem for this young man. Liukin is only 22 years old, and yet he's one of the most talented Soviet gymnasts I've ever seen. He knows how to do all the big tricks, and he's not afraid to throw the big tricks in major competitions. His dismount is a work of art. He does a giant down, he does 2 flips, and he twists a full twist in the second flip, and he spots the landing beautifully. 9.75 is the score for Liukin. This brings us to Yukio Ikitani from Japan. He's one of the 18-year-old sensations of the Japanese team. In fact, he was involved in a very dramatic contest in Seoul where the Japanese just edged out the Chinese, winning the bronze medal in the team competition. He travels all the way across the horse. He does a move called a spindle, invented by Zoltán Magyar from the Hungarian team. He clipped the horse a couple of times. Each time you brush the horse, it's a 1/10 of a point deduction. Scissor work, the single leg requirement. And a clean dismount, a flare to a handstand on the end, and a pirouette off. Ikitani placed 8th in the all-around in Seoul. He was the highest placing all-arounder from Japan. He gets a 9.6 here, and that concludes our 3rd rotation. Valery Liukin looking very impressive, doing all the hard tricks with incredible confidence and ease. His teammate Belenki is very impressive in his first major international meet. However, the Japanese are close behind Ikitani and Nishikawa, keeping it a strong race. Of course, the Japanese owned all the major gymnastics titles for 20 years, from 1959 to 1979. 1980, the Soviets took over and have not looked back. The 2 young 18-year-olds from Japan are trying to keep them in the race. Back for the conclusion of the all-around competition here at the DTB Cup in Stuttgart, West Germany, as we turn our sights to the high bar for 21-year-old Marius German from Sibiu, Romania. He was 5th in the all-around in Seoul, and he tied for the bronze in this event here, the high bar. Stem to a handstand. Nice one-arm giants. One arm again. Oh, to a tremendous release move. That's a full twisting Ginger out of one-arm giant swings. Sounds pretty complicated. That's because it is. And again, a full twisting front flip. This guy is doing everything. Okay, setting up for his dismount. Good speed on the Giants. And a double twisting double flip. Nice routine for Marius Girman from Romania. Let's take a look at the release moves again. On the first one, he does a one-arm giant swing. Now watch, he's going to let go, do a backflip in a laid-out position with 1.5 twists. A break in form there should cost him a deduction. The second one was a front with a full, and he had a minor break in form there as well, but a very difficult routine. A 10. The judges give him a perfect 10, even though there were some obvious flaws. It looks like he knew it. Our next performer, Ikitani from Japan, is getting ready to go on the floor exercise. He tied for the bronze in Seoul in this event. He has a really clean style. Ikitani still very much in the hunt for the all-around title. Wow. Full twisting double back, and he skied it. Perfect form. The Japanese have not been known to be really terrific tumblers, but he is amazing. That was a front flip through to a triple twist. Good flexibility in the split and a press to a handstand. Front, combination tumbling. That's a move called a Y scale. Shows his balance, which is a requirement in the floor routine. He's covered all the area except this last tumbling run, which is right here, round off back handspring, and a full in at the end, a little short on the landing, but that's a very difficult dismount. He seems very pleased with that performance on floor. Once again, here's the full in. It's a full twisting double back, and look at how clean his form is in the air. Most people spread their legs a little bit and have to cowboy to make the flip. He used the same move for his dismount, which also shows tremendous difficulty. Full in double back, a little short on the dismount. But I'm sure the judges didn't mind much because that was a terrific exercise. Very difficult. 9.8 for Ikitani on floor. This is Liukin, our all-around leader. He's getting ready to perform on the high bar. He tied for the gold in Seoul in this event with the all-around champion, his teammate, Artyomov. Legs together, reverse hecht. He is so aggressive. Notice everything. He tries to top off every trick to the max. The inverts, front with a full, nice regrasp. That straddle giant is called a stalder. Picking up speed for the dismount, and a triple back with his knees together. A tough dismount. Liukin is such an aggressive gymnast. In fact, he was kicked out of his gym in Alma-Ata in the Soviet Union because he couldn't get along with his coach. He has a real feisty attitude, and you can see that style in his gymnastics. This is the triple flip. Most of the guys have to really cowboy, but notice he maintains his knees together for the first two flips and only pulls them apart a very little bit at the end. And so a 9.9 for Liukin. That will clinch the all-around title because this young man, Daisuke Nishikawa from Japan, even with a perfect 10, can't catch Liukin for the all-around title. His biggest competitor is his teammate now, Ikitani. Nishikawa was 13th in the all-around in the Olympics in Seoul. Over-rotates a little bit and steps out of bounds on that laid-out double back. His second run is a really clean tuck double back to a perfect landing. A lot of guys use more difficulty in their second tumbling run, but I like his option. He took a cleaner run and stylized the double back rather than trying to pack in too many tricks.